Good morning, everyone. This morning we are going to be talking about spinach. Yep, this, lovely little green leaf of a vegetable. You're probably familiar with it. And some of you probably have some strong feelings about it. You either, like it, don't really think about it, or maybe kind of loathe it. Spinach can get a bad rap. I know when I was growing up, I thought this was the most disgusting thing because largely the only time I ever saw spinach was when it came out of a can. And let's face it, it looked like slimy green slop that just kind of plopped out of a can and really was rather gross. So, there's a lot of different things you can do with it. It does come in a can, it comes frozen, and it comes fresh. The first time I ever had spinach I actually liked was at my grandma's house, California, agricultural area. She could grow a garden all year long. And one of the things she did, she had fresh spinach growing underneath her orange tree. And so we'd get sent out to pick some. And she'd bring it in and she would lightly saute it on the stove with a little bit of vinegar, salt and vinegar. And that was actually kind of good, It was like warm salad, so to speak. I'd never had warm salad before. So it can be really good. And here's some thoughts for the day. Even if you don't like spinach or think you don't like spinach, it's really good for you. So I encourage you to give it a shot. And sometimes we have to treat ourselves like kids. Sometimes we have to sneak our veggies in because they're just not exciting. They're not as tasty as some other things that maybe we want to eat. They're flavorful and yummy, and they are so full of fiber and vitamins and nutrients that our bodies need. So the first recipe we're going to do today, it's not so much a recipe. Really, you get to freestyle this all you want. It's just kind of a tip, a way to add some spinach to your diet. You might notice that I've got my little one-person blender smoothie maker out again. And in my little smoothie jar, I have put in some, well, they were frozen when they were at my house, some frozen mixed berries, a little frozen mango. The white powder at the bottom is a clear soluble fiber powder. You may know a store brand or name brand is like Metamucil. It doesn't just come in orange flavors. It does have a taste less powder brand available. And I like to use that because I can sneak into all kinds of things just to add more fiber to my diet, especially if I'm doing something that's a drinkable meal. And that's kind of what I'm doing here with a smoothie. When I'm on the go, sometimes a smoothie is a great way to grab some fruits and vegetables, and the fiber powder just gives it a little boost, a little oomph. You can add yogurt, Greek yogurt if you want a little protein, or regular yogurt. I like to add a V8. It's a V8 drink that's got a combination of fruits and vegetables in it. You could add water, you could add milk. Sometimes I'll add like a white tea. Oh, there it is. See, these little cans fit perfectly. The other thing I'm going to do that might freak you out a little bit, it is a spinach demo. Yep, putting some spinach in the smoothie. You might have heard of green smoothies, and you can do that. You can add a ton. You can do cucumbers, green apples, spinach, kale, all kinds of green stuff in there. I'm just going to add some leaves. It wouldn't be considered a whole vegetable serving, but just some, just a little bit to sneak it in there. So it's not going to taste like a spinach smoothie. I promise. I also do this with kale. Whatever green leafy thing I have sitting around my house, I figure I can use. You just throw a couple leaves into your smoothie, just bumps up the servings a little bit of those vitamins, gets that extra fiber, gets a little bit of those extra minerals and vitamins into my diet. Just sneak them in throughout the day. You can put it in a sandwich instead of lettuce, regular lettuce. So start sneaking in those green leafy vegetables into your meals. Replace regular lettuce with some of these, kale or spinach that have more to them than water. All right, I'm going to turn off the camera while I blend this so your ears don't buzz. Alrighty, so I gave it a buzz and I like to tap it away from the top just so it doesn't go splorp. That's the technical term, splorp, everywhere. Of course, I'm already thinking I did forget one thing. I forgot a straw, so. Yep, doesn't taste like spinach at all. Tastes like those berries and the mango. So kind of nice and fruity. Nice healthy way to grab a snack. Get those extra servings of fruits and vegetables in your day. You know, summer's coming. I know we just started spring, but this is a good thing to keep in mind for the summer instead of some ice cream. Anyway, I will get back to drinking that later. I'm going to set that aside, everybody, and we're back, and we're doing part 2 of our spinach cooking demo today. So we just talked about making a smoothie and sneaking spinach in, you know, just little bits of it just to bump up fiber and nutrition. Well, now we're going to use the rest of the spinach, not in a salad. That's too easy. We're going to drop it in some soup today because, you know, it's really good. You can sneak spinach into lasagna, in pasta, other pasta sauces and pasta dishes, and soups. Super easy. It just kind of withers up and disappears. You'll take this big pile of spinach and it reduces down into just the small looking amount. People won't even notice they're eating it. So we are going to be doing a soup, and not just any soup. You know, during this pandemic, a lot of restaurants shut down. You might not have got out to eat a lot. So there might be things that you're missing. One of the things I miss Olive Garden, okay? We don't have one in our town. We have to travel to go to one. But they have some great soup. They have some great pasta. It's just a lot of fun. I like to meet up with friends who live in other cities. Sometimes we'll go to an Olive Garden. So there's just some fond memories attached. One of the things I really like about Olive Garden is their chicken gnocchi soup, and it's really good. And one of the things that's in it is a bunch of spinach. So we're going to kind of recreate that today. And I've got my ingredients lined up back here. We're going to start with a little drizzle of olive oil. You can do this on a stove. I'm just choosing to do it as a crock pot because it works easier in our space here at the senior center. So a drizzle of olive oil is going in. You can throw in some, we'll say, onions. I use regular diced up white onion, like a small one or a half a head of a large onion. If you've got people who think they don't like onion, don't like the texture of onion like I have in my life, you can certainly just sneak in some onion powder here in a minute. But we want to go ahead and put the rest of our veggies in. So there is a whole diced up, chopped up celery stalk in there, and a carrot or two grated. You can also buy them pre-grated if you are having problems with the dexterity of getting those little buggers grated yourself. It's one of the tricks I like to do when we're doing demos at the center. But since I didn't have you all live with me, I took the time and grated it myself. And I'm throwing in a couple of cups of spinach. Now, if you want to make sure it's really small and people don't notice it's there, you can take the time and tear it up into smaller pieces, and maybe they'll just think it's an herb. You know, as it withers up, they'll just think it's some kind of herb floating around in their soup, and it's not really spinach at all. You know, we can be sneaky, covert vegetable eating. If they don't know they're eating it, they can't complain about it. All right. And then, of course, we want to get our chicken in. Bunch of chicken, because I have a bunch of carnivores in life. This is just some rotisserie chicken. It's about half of the rotisserie chicken. I used half of it for one thing. I need my knife back. And I saved this other half for this soup. You can also cook up a chicken breast or, you know, whatever chicken you have. You just want to make sure, you know, I wouldn't use barbecue chicken, you know. Just some kind of lightly herbed or just roasted chicken. And then, of course, we've got our gnocchi. If you don't know what gnocchi are, it's a pasta that's made with potato. Think of potato pasta. All right? They're these, and instead of being in ribbons, they're in balls. This is actually a mini gnocchi, so it's a small one. So it looks like just a lump. It's kind of like a dumpling, almost like a little potato dumpling. So I kind of like the small ones. You can, the regular size is probably double that. You can get them just these little dishes ready to go. So they're easy and a lot of fun. There we go. I had a piece of chicken escape, pardon me. There we go. All right, now let's bring the rest of the class to the party. Get our herbs and spices going. Okay, so we've got our vegetation in there, and we've got, I'm just gonna grab a spoon. There we go. I'll lay it to the back of the class. So for our herbs and seasoning going into my crock pot here, I'm gonna add in, we like garlic, so it's a heaping spoon of garlic here, and I want to get some of the juices in there too. So some of the good. Put it back on. If you've got if you've got fresh thyme, you can certainly use that. I'm going to use about a teaspoon of dry thyme. I like to crush it, so I'm going to just roll it in my hands, start releasing some of the oils, open it up. Lets the flavors develop better. And as I said, if you didn't use an actual onion, this is where I sneak in a little onion powder for the complainers in my life. I also like to add a little dash or two of poultry seasoning. It's just sage, thyme, and oh, I forget the other thing that's in poultry seasoning. The rosemary, marjoram, because it's an all-in-one. So it just bumps it up just a little bit. Just another tasty, what's that? All right, now for stock and cream. All right, you can, if you're watching salt, you can certainly use low salt, less sodium stock. Alrighty, I'm just going to toss that little thing in there, and that's about 32 ounces. If you are making a smaller batch, if you're living alone, you certainly don't need to use the whole thing. And half and half, or some heavy cream, just adds a bit of lusciousness. So it depends on how naughty you want to be calorically, which you want to go with. This is just a little bit of whipping cream. I'm just adding about 8 ounces. So about half of this bottle went in there. And then I'm going to get rid of here. Before I put the lid on of our crock pot, to wipe the lid, seal a little bit, just going to kind of stir things about. There we go, just giving it a stir. All right, we'll let everything cook down. Most everything in here is cooked except the vegetables. So that's what makes it so easy. So you're really just heating it up. And this is why it's easy and fast to do on the stove. With chicken that's already cooked, you just gotta really heat things through and let those vegetables get to the doneness you want. And if you're using a crock pot like I am, you just get to set it and forget it and come back in a couple of hours. And you have something that's very aromatic, very delicious, smells so good, really kind of a comfort food. And that spinach is in there and it adds some color because, you know, if you've got chicken and, you know, this light colored pasta and the cream makes the broth white, it's like white on white on white. And those carrots and that spinach just give it a pop. So it brings some life visually to the bowl. We eat with our eyes first, and certainly bumps up that nutritional value. So that is our cooking demo for the day. The recipe, of course, is going to be in the commentary, probably without the poultry seasoning, because that's kind of one of my little bump ups. And I hope you give it a try at home. And if you're missing meat eating out, maybe think about how you can reinvent or create some of the dishes you like so much from your favorite restaurant. Hope you guys have an awesome day. We're thinking of you. Take care.